I'm Nathan Rogers, joined again by Joe Ellenberger and Mike Kendall. We're here to talk a little bit of fights this week. Let's talk about last week's fights, though. 2 weeks ago's fights real quick. Man, Mike, you and I talked a little bit in depth about the Gagne fight. Joe, I mean, how did you get a chance to watch that fight? What did you think of it?
You know, I did, and the way those first 2 rounds went, I thought that was the way it was going to go. You know, if Francis didn't land that big shot, he got taken in deep waters. You just don't know how he's going to respond. And Gagne, you know, getting taken down like that was kind of different. But funny enough, my boy Usman, you know, it sounds like he's been kind of working with him in his grappling, his wrestling. And a guy that's as athletic as Francis Ngannou is, he's going to learn quick, and he put it on display and took that decision.
And Mike, were you surprised to see those takedowns in the last 3 rounds there?
I was. It wasn't something that you're used to seeing from Ngannou, but good on him. He changed his game plan up a lot and was able to come out with the victory. I mean, everyone was thinking that Ngannou was gonna drag him into deep waters and drown him there. But it was actually, kind of went the other way around, and Ngannou was able to exact that same type of game plan on his opponent, which was very impressive. It's good to see Ngannou make some changes and actually evolve.
Man, I mean, Figueiredo comes out on top against Moreno in a very close decision. How did you guys see that fight going?
Man, that one was. I actually was telling people that there's money in that draw. Because they had a draw once, and it's just so razor thin every time. And you get plus 5,000, plus 7,000. Throw that $10 flyer to win $500. I actually thought that was a draw this weekend or this last fight, based on the problem was you got to have somebody that really dominates a round. And 2 of the rounds that I thought were going to be 10-8, Fig got dropped right away. He comes back and drops Moreno at the end of the round, so you can't give him a 10-8 round. So, it was close. I actually thought Moreno probably eked it out. I wasn't surprised to see Fig eke that one out, though. That was a close fight. I'd like to watch those guys fight 100 rounds, and it'd be entertaining the whole time.
Well, it's always kind of been a thing in past fights where they say, in order to beat the champ in a decision, you got to legitimately beat the champ. I don't feel that Figueiredo was able to do that. And get that kind, and Moreno wasn't given that same kind of respect as the current, the defending champion. I think it was a great fight. Like you said, draw. It could have been, could have gone either way, but I think Moreno squeaked it out enough to not lose his belt for sure. But I think it's just gonna instill more hunger in Moreno. He's gonna make another title run. I mean, hopefully they'll get that 4th match and It'll decide. It'll be decisive.
Well, before we get to the next fights, I want to talk a little bit about our whiskey that we're drinking here. We're all whiskey lovers. Figured we'd incorporate into the show, and we couldn't really jump into it too much without starting off with pretty much what started the whiskey takeover in the UFC. Proper 12, I think over the next few weeks, we're going to be bringing in different whiskeys associated with different fighters and some sort of ties to the UFC.
Definitely. I mean, I'm a guy who likes to drink whiskey, good whiskey, and shout out to Conor McGregor with his Proper 12. It's a good sipper. I'm looking forward to the rest of them too.
Man, let's hop into this week's fights. We've got our main event. I mean, really not a whole lot going on in this card. The main event should be fun. Sean Strickland has kind of set social media on fire in the last few months with some of his antics and things that he's done, including apparently a crib-style walkthrough of his house this week, showing off his guns for shooting crackheads.
It's well known throughout the land that Sean Strickland is a nut job, right? So he's actually fighting Uriah Hall, and Uriah's up in his corner, and I think it was Uriah Hall's coach, Saif Saud, that was actually talking to him. But Bisping was actually like, he's like, Strickland's actually coaching him right now. Like, he thought that you can't put anything past this guy to think that maybe that Bisping thought that he was coaching Uriah Hall as he was fighting him. I mean, it just goes to the credit that this guy is off his rocker. That's for sure.
So he's fighting against Jumpin' Jack Hermasson, who a year and a half ago Dana White said was the the biggest prospect in the UFC. Obviously, he's gone 2-2 since then. He's really taken some tough fights. So Hermasson is a favorite of plus 180 right now on my bookie.
Underdog.
How do you look at this one? Oh yeah, it's the underdog.
Yeah. So Jack the Joker's the dog. I think that line is right on. I think Strickland, he's a bit of a sociopath. The guy is tough. He hits hard. He comes in pretty good shape. Jack the Joker is the kind of guy, though, I feel like when he gets counted out, he does rally and he is able to really put on a good fight. His submissions are no joke. I actually, in this fight, I think they're over-under set at 4.5 rounds. I don't think that one goes the distance. Strickland is probably not a guy, especially when he comes out, hard and heavy. I don't think he's a guy that's going to want to last 25 minutes. I think he's going to try to knock Jack the Joker out. And I think if the Joker can hang around, I think he probably pulls a submission off in that third, early fourth round. So I would take the under 4.5.
Yeah, watching Hermansson's fight with Shabarjan, it was very awkward to see. This guy, his stand-up was he covers his vision almost, almost to just err on the side of not getting struck in the face. But I think it puts blinders on. It's like a horse, fighting. You're very narrow-minded. But do you see Strickland? Do you see Hermansson being able to stand up with Strickland? Probably not. So you think it's going to go to the ground. And I think that if Strickland's able to avoid that, being is that he's a lot more, he's a more technically, able to avoid those takedowns and stuff. And Hermansson's takedowns he's not that accurate. If you look at his stats, his takedown and his grappling, his accuracy is 36%. Where Strickland's defense is 82%. So you're looking at a guy that can nullify that grappling aspect of Hermansson, I believe.
Yeah, I think the Joker is a little bit wild, but the thing is sometimes I feel like the percentages on takedowns don't necessarily tell the tale. If you get a guy that shoots 10 shots in a round and gets 5 and you're at 50%, that doesn't sound that good. 5 takedowns in a round and wins a round pretty easy, in my opinion. Guys like Clay Guida and the guys that wrestle hard, those are the kind of guys that I think about when I see that. And I think Jack's not really much different. Obviously at middleweight, you got guys that are big, athletic, strong, tough to bring down. But I think that's going to be a pretty a good fight that I think it doesn't probably get the recognition it deserves, because I think this is going to be a war. I think Strickland's going to come out hitting, and I think Jackson trying to get that submission. So again, I like the under.
So over under is pretty much even money now, minus 115 on either side. You're going with the under on that.
I'll take the under on that.
And where are we at here, Mike?
I'm gonna have to take the under with him as well. I think I see Strickland wanting to finish his fight and finish it fast, so that he doesn't get tired, get taken to the ground, and taken advantage by Hermansson.
Who do you like on this card, Mike?
I love the fact that my dude Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani is on here right now, making his UFC debut. Let me see the line on that one.
It's almost even money.
So even money.
So yeah, 110.
I like it. I like it just because I'm gonna support my boy right here. And then going the under and the over on that one. I look at the under because I think Chidi's just gonna come out swinging. He's finally made it. He's got his chance. He's been working for this run to the UFC for a long time, since back when he was fighting for us in the RFA, and now he's finally there. I think he's under the coaching of one Nick. It's his time, and I think he's going to come out. He's very explosive, a great devastating striker. I think he's going to finish this one early.
Man, the Njokuani brothers, they're people that I've met them. I've actually gone down to Vegas and trained with them and stuff like that. Man, those guys have some kicking power. They have some knees, and you don't want to get into the clinch with them.
No, and to piggyback on that too, I'm excited to watch Chidi make his UFC debut. This burial is not a joke though. This guy is a Canadian cat coming down from 205, I believe, down to 185. That's a big dude. He's also kind of a kickboxing stand-up guy, if I remember right. And so that's a great matchup for the fans, because that one's going to have some fireworks. That under 2.5 rounds, I think, is plus 135. So you're getting, about 30 cents on your dollar if you go under. I love that bet. I think there, two guys that are going to come out, and someone's going to make a statement, and someone's going to probably go to sleep. I think Chitty is probably the favorite, or the guy that I would back in somebody getting knocked out. His knees, his precise striking. I mean, it's almost a little bit, a la Anderson Silva back in the day when it was just everything he hit it landed, and it's a devastator. But that's going to be a great fight too.
Absolutely. And you were talking about Barriault being a big, he's going to be a big 185er. I know for a fact that Chitty's also a big 185er. He's had some tough runs making weight. So that he's coming down from a pretty stout weight as well. So I look to that to be kind of like, even in that aspect of the fight.
The other one I would toss at you guys is a kid from Kansas City, Jason Witt. He's coming in to face Philip Rowe. You might get knocked out. Jason is, I've actually had the pleasure of interviewing him a few times. Super nice. He actually started as a skateboarder before he got into MMA.
That's a big ass skateboarder. Damn.
He's a super nice guy. He's the guy that made it in through the Contender Series. He's an underdog on this one. He has not had the best record in the UFC since he got in there. How do you guys see this one playing out?
I mean, I remember Jason Witt back. He was obviously, Krause trained down there. He's got a great team behind him, and he came up and fought Dakota Cochran at a VFC. I don't remember if it was a main event or what it was, but I remember when we got, Dakota's not a small guy, and they got in the cage at 70, and I was like, this Jason Witt kid is twice the size of Dakota Cochran. I was like, this is gonna be bad if we, have to wrestle with this kid for 15 minutes. And luckily Dakota, they traded some big shots. I think Dakota ended up rear naked choke, getting the win. But I remember after that fight too, we were talking, and he was like, I'm glad I got that choke because that dude is huge. I do like Witt here in this matchup. You're getting $130. He's a little bit of an underdog. I also don't hate the over 1.5 because I don't think he's gonna get finished. I mean, like I said, he's big, he's punishing, he moves well, and he's coached up very well. James Krause is one of the best in the business. He's got some of our guys that kind of come down there and train, and I really enjoy watching his mastery, in the fight game. So I think Jason Witt will be ready. You got kid a full camp. He's tough. He's in shape, and so I do like that over 1.5 rounds. I think it's 150. So you're gonna pay a little bit more for it, but I think that's easy money. And then obviously I like the plus 130 on the money line.
I like the money. I like the money. The value is good for Jason Witt on this bout in that under. I believe. I think that those are two good things. These are two big guys. They're going to be throwing a lot of heavy leather. I do see this fight stopping pretty early.
The one thing I really like about a lot of those James Krause guys, they're really good at cutting off the cage. Jason Witt's kind of a wrestler. Being able to cut off that cage and get people into your corner, making a smaller cage is definitely a good place for him to have an advantage. I know that's one of those things that, especially fighting against people from there, you guys try to open up that cage and try to create a little more space with him.
Yeah, you don't want to stuck on the wall against Jason Witt. I mean, you'll be stuck for till he lets you off. You're stuck there for 2 days if he wants to keep you there. And so, Philip Rowe does have a tall task in front of him. Obviously, he's talented too. He's here for a reason. So, again, I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good fight.
Well, hey, when we get done here, we'll shake out these picks and figure out what these guys actually picked because I don't even know at this point. I do want, Mike, what do you got going on this weekend?
Oh, well, not only is it my birthday on Thursday, but I do have LFA 123 in Hammond, Indiana at the Horseshoe Casino. It's going to be a great night, dude. Staying in the Chicago area, downtown. It's going to be dope.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Heck yeah.
This weekend with MMA Futures, we've got FAC 12. You can catch the undercard, the amateur undercard, right here on our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. It is a Dana White looking for a fight, so it's on a Sunday afternoon. The amateur card kicks off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you want to know more about some of the matches on this, click on the link that'll be up here somewhere. I talked to Trey Ogden last week about this event, and he kind of told us a lot of things to look out for, and he told us to watch out for Isaac Dulgarian and see if he can get that contract from the UFC.
Yeah, I'd say that main event is going to be good. You got a guy, TJ Bad News Britain, who he's fighting. That's the kid's 6'2", I think, 135 pounds. So real hard kid to fight. He's long. He trains with Ryan Mossberg Boxing. Shout out, a guy that they're gonna come to fight. That's gonna be a great fight.
Well, hey, thank you guys once again for tuning in. We're working on it, making it better. Be sure to go put your bets on mybookie.ag. Use the link below or use MMA FUT as your code. Get double your money if you make a crypto purchase, or get 10% if you use cash to get into it.
And happy birthday, Mike.
Happy
Thanks,
birthday.
guys. Cheers.